You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leck.
And together we are
Rope Break.
And it's time, guys, for AEW Dynamite. Of course, 8 minutes after the show was over. Not a bad Dynamite, Jean-Paul. A lot of good things. The beginning a little crappy for Jean-Paul. I mean, this match I didn't really care too much about, but like we got to see Hikaru Shida. We got to see Jon Moxley, MJF. The main event was really good, but like Jean-Paul said, the ending a little crappy.
Yeah. To summarize that, like you said, this episode of Dynamite was a lot better than I would say. It was a lot more consistently good. It wasn't like one or two good matches and then bullshit. I mean, no, it was Dynamite, so there's always a little bit of bullshit, just like on Smackdown or Raw. Even when we say it's good, there's always a little bit of bullshit. But
it's absolutely true. So, don't forget, to watch Talking About Monday Night Raw. We had a great video. Welcome, Dominic, to the WWE. A lot of people are saying it was too violent. A lot of guys are saying it needed to happen. I consulted with Tyler Ash. I want to, shout out him because I said, is this kind of like an initiation? He's like, yeah, I got my ass kicked like that. So, we got confirmation that that's kind of they welcome you in the world of professional wrestling. So, let's take it start from the beginning, Jean-Paul. Young Bucks against the Dark Order. See, this match, I think it was pretty decent. But in the end, of course, like Jean-Paul always says, the Bucks have to come out as winners. I don't know why. But you walk me through it, Jean-Paul.
Yeah, this was good. Stu Grayson is a hell of a wrestler. Evil Uno is good, too. At first people were like, oh, look at him. He looks like an egg walking around that ring. Like, he's kind of dopey. He's whatever. The dude can move. He flies over the ropes and shit. Like, for him, he might not be, like a Rey Mysterio or a Seth Rollins or somebody, but the guy can wrestle. He's good. The Young Bucks, again, you have Matt Jackson. He makes a hot tag. He doesn't sell anything. He just takes down both these guys like he's, Superman.
Yeah,
so it's like
the Young Bucks or Generation Me.
No, I think they're like the Road Warriors, actually.
Yeah,
I think that's who they are. Yeah, I don't know, or the APA or somebody, but they, it was an even match. It looked good, and I'm like, okay, they kind of pushed the Dark Order last week. Yeah, they lost against Cody and Cardona, but those were just the job guys. These are the legit guys from the Dark Order. No, they're going to win. It's going to be legit, especially when they announce, Brody Lee and Cody next Saturday. So it's like, okay, they're really pushing the Dark Order. But no, and then they lose in the most bullshit way. You have Matt Jackson is in the tunnel, and the Dark Order goons are all blocking him. So it's like, okay, this is how they're going to get the Dark Order to win. So it's like, oh, we weren't actually out there, so it doesn't count. It wasn't a legit win. But no, Nick freaking rolls them up anyway and done.
And done.
So it's like, okay, I guess, whatever.
It doesn't matter what can you do to the Young Bucks, they're never going to lose. The match was really cool, like you said. Stu Grayson is a pretty good wrestler. I really like his style. I like how he wrestles. Evil Uno, like you said, I just feel that they need to keep winning. At least it's not even a title match. So who cares who wins? You know what I mean? If you lose, it's fine. You're not losing the champion.
Oh yeah, and especially the Bucks, they have their fans. Their fans, the Young Bucks could probably super kick all their fans right in the crotch, and they'd be like, "Oh, thank you." They'll have their fans no matter what, so they can afford to lose. The Dark Order needed to win and ride the momentum, but no, why would they do that?
No. Why would they push somebody else that is not them? But it's just our opinion. I feel that if you guys have a different opinion, that's fine. That's why we're here to talk about, to discuss professional wrestling, and the best way possible. So Jean-Paul, we go to Wardlow because he's standing outside MJF's office and he's knocks on the door. So Goldberg's gonna come out.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, all of that. There's a great picture that I just saw that they had Samoa Joe when he was the NXT champion. But because MJF just did the push a guy, kind of like a security or something, Samoa Joe did the exact same thing to MJF. When he was coming out for one of the takeovers. So that's pretty cool. And then, so he's coming out. So then we get to see Kenny Omega and Adam Hanna Page sitting backstage, and they're asked who's the best tag team of all time. And then Omega says quickly the Young Bucks, and Page looks surprised. So Jean-Paul always says they always have to
well, that would be
each other's I'm not gonna say what, but they have to do that.
Yeah, that would be when we start our show, we just say we're the #1 podcast because that's what we believe. That would be if it's John Paul, who do you think's the #1 wrestling podcast? What culture? No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why would you say, no? Like,
Yeah.
so it's like Kenny. I mean, I agree with Hangman. He looks at him. He's like, "What the fuck? Like, you're like done, dude."
Yeah. So Kenny then says that like they're just two single guys and brushes it off, and then hilariously calls the Bugs the gods of tag team wrestling. So like you said, it's like you see the like the breaking point. You see like the discrepancies that they're having like in between Adam Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, and well, you can say like they never had like the chemistry outside, but more than only on the inside. Because like they wrestle really well, but like they don't see the chemistry like outside. But like you said, that's kind of like. And I think that like they did it just because they want to create that,
Oh yeah, the
breaking in the
tension,
relationship between both of them. So MJF once again, he's in the campaign because he's going against Donald Trump and Joe Biden and against Kamala Harris, all of that stuff. So he says that like he starts to talk about, but he stops to tell his female handler to smile. He's like, hey, smile, honey. Good stuff. I like MJF. MJF, like a lot of people say, like is really good and rightfully so. MJF hands the floor to Nina so she can show pulling the numbers, so which shows like he's beating Moxley in the landslide. He says that there are more important things to talk about than numbers because today is the day that John Moxley leadership dies. MJF says he's here and he's always will be, week after week, and the campaign, and that's one of the promises in his campaign. He says he will take responsibility for John's absence because he's afraid of him. MJF says that Moxley isn't used to dealing with somebody like him, someone who will look up to the lights for him every single week. MJF then ties down in the middle in the ring and asks if John is happy now. He says he didn't start this to have a beef with John. He started it because AEW needs leadership. MJF says Moxley isn't a leader. He's a dog chasing cars. I like that. I really like that line, John Paul. And, he keeps going and going and going until, like, pretty much John Moxley music hits and he's coming out from his house. So we want to wait another 20 minutes. He's, like, kissing, Renee Young, honey, I'll be back. And then he has to come back. And then he starts like handling everybody. He starts taking everybody off. And then he beats MJF. He beats him really bad. And then he had a paradigm shift, and that's it.
Yeah, he sent him all. He's like, oh, go to the stairs, go to the bleachers, or not the wherever, because that's where he comes through. And then of course he came out on the stands, he came out through the stage, and it was like, oh, okay. I mean it was kind of one of those things where you got to just do the dumb wrestling logic, like really. Like you're not gonna like look behind you. You're gonna look everywhere else except the place where wrestlers normally come out.
Yes.
But I mean, yeah, like you said, he came out, stole cold stunner, he flipped him the bird, drank a beer. That's the bottom line. Legit stuff.
Oh yeah, it was good. It was good. He says he's gonna teach him a lesson of humility. It's gonna be a painful one though, at All Out. So he promises it will be a bitter pill to swallow for MJF, but MJF is just lying in the ring, holding his neck, almost crying. So good stuff. Like we can see, like the rivalry is starting to like take shape. Finally, like we see that both of them are taking it personal. Good stuff on those ends. So we see like the replay of like Sammy Guevara throwing the chair at Mad Lucius Hardy. He's upset. Like he got busted open. We call about this in our video of the news. We always like said that like Matt Hardy was not supposed to get busted open. He did. Jean Paul already justified that. Hey, he's wrestling. If you don't like it, you shouldn't be doing this. But like Matt Hardy's probably used to doing all of this. So he says like he cuts a promo and he says that he has like 10 more days to be fully recovered, and then he says that he's gonna be the crap out of Sammy Guevara. And then somebody passes by and like he thinks that he's Sammy Guevara and he was one of the referees, and he starts beating him up. But according to Jean Paul, he's kind of like seeing like kind of going broken one more time, right, Jean Paul?
Yeah, because just I forget what the actual line was, because I'm like, oh, okay, he said 10 days here, and you're kind of thinking 10 days. Well, that's like that's a Saturday, and it's like, oh, okay, because they forget to tell you that because the NBA game's on, they're getting rescheduled till Saturday. So it's like, okay, I'm glad. You probably should have said that at the top of the show, but whatever. But he referred to himself in the third person. He said, "Oh, Matthew or Matt." He didn't say me or I.
Talking like the Damascus, yes.
So I'm like, really, like you're. Oh, I'm gonna be real, guys. I'm gonna be Matthew Hardy. That lasted a whole 2 weeks.
So every week we get something different, right, Jean Paul? And you're right. One big thing that I want to like agree with Jean Paul is like if you're making changes to the time of your show, and you please announce that at the beginning of the show, so we all understand when everybody keeps mentioning Saturday.
And
Saturday.
Again,
why is it Saturday?
And see, this is a thing because it's like, they put a lot of stuff on YouTube, AEW Dark, The Deadly Draw. They put a lot of stuff on their social media. They pander to that audience. They pander to the social media addicted audience. So it's like, if you don't watch Being the Elite or follow us on Instagram, you're going to miss out. But what about the people who just watch on TV? that's like, you should still give all the information to the people on TV. Not like after Brody Lee cuts a promo about facing Moxley at Saturday, which I thought he's, going to be going to in the main event. Screw you, Karrion Kross and Keith Lee. I'm like, are they on Takeover? And then the commentary, oh yeah, we're rescheduled till Saturday.
No, they didn't even mention it. You were the one that like said, oh.
No, they said it right before they went to commercial.
Yeah.
They just said it like real quick, like 2 seconds, and then it was like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
like, so like what I'm saying, like make it like more obvious so everybody can be, because he kept saying Saturday, Saturday. What the hell is going on Saturday? He's like, he's all out. So, something that really to give in consideration, please, AEW. So it's time to like get it all away. I give it all away. Finally, the TNT Championship is fully completed. It looks the same, but like with a little bit gold to me. So does it look extremely great? I think that like the title looked fine. Just a silver, but now it's gold.
Yeah, I wish they could have came up with something different than the TNT title. I mean, now this is kind of old to be complaining about it, I guess, but like that would be like, now I know this is kind of funny because there is a United States Championship, but that would be like if Raw had the USA Championship, or like SmackDown had the Fox Championship.
It's supposed to be the US, but you're right. Like, like something more, the name a little different,
Yeah, like I said, if SmackDown had the Fox Championship, really, like, can you name it like not after the TV station?
It's like like two guys that had an incredible podcast will name their championship the Road Break Championship. That will be really stupid, and I will.
That would be legit because we own it. AEW doesn't own TNT. They're just on that network. TNT could send them to Spike TV. Then what are you going to do when you go to Spike TV? Are you going to still have the TNT Championship?
So if they start, like, see, we get a contract with Spike TV with the Rover or like the Spike TV Championship.
No, yeah, well, yeah, I wouldn't do that because that would be, why name it after a TV station? To me, that's bullshit.
Absolutely right, Jumbo. And the one thing is like big surprise. Mike Chioda is on AEW. Mm-hmm. He made his like reappearance in the professional wrestling world. Kiki. Mike Chioda, like, he officiated like this match with Scorpio Skye. Really good match that we both knew. The one thing I don't like, Jean-Paul, why the whole family needs to come out.
I mean, I think they're I mean, okay, I don't want to give them too much credit here, but I think they're setting up something with Cody, like they say, he's kind of full of himself. He brings out the family. Like, who the hell is he going to bring next? I was honestly surprised we didn't see Cardona out there. I'm happy we didn't, because hopefully he's going to try to be more of a singles guy than just be like, sucking off of Cody's teeth. So hopefully, that's what happens. But yeah, they bring out the whole family. I understand, Arn Anderson and Brandy. That I'm like, okay, whatever. But Dustin, QT, Brandy, like, really?
No, and Ali,
Yeah, Ali. Yeah. That's what I meant.
I'm like, like everybody, like pretty much, like even like I want to shout out our friend Papa Straw. He said that, like, he's like, really, like, catering is coming out next. You know what I mean? Like, why does everybody have to come out?
But the match itself, I mean, they kept saying, oh, this could be match of the year candidate. I mean, it could have been if it was a little longer. And I feel like it was really good, except the ending of it. The sequence where he was going for the TKO and then he got out of there and then he hit the crossroads and he kicked out of the first crossroads, that was legit. But then when they did the second time and it's like, oh, I don't even know what Scorpio was setting up for. But then Cody countered, hit the crossroads, went to the cover. It was like 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, really? Like, it was like, that was anticlimactic. And then the first one, it was legit. I always go to Big Daddy, where it's like the first time when he walks in, they're like, surprise. And then it's not even him. And then the guy whose birthday it is, they're like, oh, hey, happy birthday, surprise.
It is true. It is true. I mean,
and then it's like, oh, we wasted the good one on you on the first time. It's like, shit.
Yeah, no, it is true. And I really enjoyed the match. Like you said, I really enjoyed the cutter on the outside. Good stuff. Like, well, Scorpio Skye is like, he's the future of AEW. There's a lot of guys that could really be the future, like Jungle Boy. We're going to talk about Luchasaurus Jungle Boy in just a little bit, but like Scorpio Skye is one of them. We got to see Kazarian. He was kind of like supporting a little bit of like Scorpio Skye right there. But like you said, I mean, like, if they made such a big deal when he kicks out of the crossroads, then he wins it with hitting another one, and this is like, oh yeah, sure. Why? Because he kicked out of the one. So yeah. I mean, like, make it a little bit, more climactic rather than anticlimactic. But, I mean, time restraints because, of course, they have a lot of things to give us on the show. I think that's why they say, like, okay, Kiki, done.
Yep.
Kiki, done. So, like, but good stuff. Cody, like, good stuff from him. But then after that, Brody Lee comes out, and he's pretty much challenging Cody for a match for the TNT Championship, and he has the old version of it, or the silver one, and he kept saying Saturday. So I'm like, Jean-Paul, what the hell is he saying Saturday? I heard Saturday. He's like, oh, no, NBA's okay. So the AEW is going to be actually on Saturday at 6 p.m. So, of course, they're going to go to the pre-show takeover. So, it's going to be, if we thought that we were going to have a long week, there you go, more hours for us.
But at least the one legit thing is we can maybe do NXT right on Wednesday then.
Oh, yeah, it is true.
Yeah.
So, next week, we're going to have NXT right on Wednesday, with Jean-Paul and myself. It's going to be great. It's going to be great because it's going to be the go-home show for TakeOver. So, good stuff on that. But Brody Lee pretty much is the one asking.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the chance. If you're going to do the switch, it's now. If you're gonna do it, if you're gonna push Brody Lee, you have to push him right now. That's what it has to be. And I mean, if they don't do it, I wouldn't be surprised. But
because Jean-Paul, if he loses to that, he loses 2 title matches. To the men. The only two guys.
And both times he has somebody. He has somebody else's title that doesn't belong to him.
Yeah. He's just learning. That's the only way, like you said. That's the only way that he's actually gonna hell go. That's the only way that he's going to hold goals. So, it's not really what we want to see. But, if he doesn't win, he's lost both title matches, the only 2 titles that AEW has. What's the point of this guy being in the company? Thank you so very much. Go to Impact and then keep, stealing titles because I guess that's the only way you can be as close as goal as you could ever be. So, Jean-Paul, good stuff on that. And then we go to, Private Party, who's, the best tag team of all time because why it was, the Tag Team Appreciation Day on AEW. They said the Hardy Boys, and of course they don't have footage from the Hardy Boys because it's all WWE or Impact. So they got to have
because of course they showed
when they were 6-year-old.
We can say
Hardy gave them that picture.
Yeah,
so
they showed
talking about tag team, Jean-Paul. We go to tag team championship match, AEW tag team titles on the line. Adam Hellman Page, Kenny Omega against Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and the guy that Jean-Paul and a lot of people, and I even consider myself. Why is this guy right here, Marco? I'm a boy stunt. So and
he doesn't. So does he not deserve Lucius?
Oh well, no, because he's a kid. No, and we're not go Kid Lee, Marco Stunt. They don't even They don't even go. Although Luchasaurus also he's Dominic. I think he channeled his inner Dominic, and he's like, "Hi, mom, hey."
Yeah, I thought Marco Stunt was ventriloquist dummy for him here. I'm really, dude? You're 6'7"
Marco Stunt is the one talking through Luchasaurus. But in the end, good match. I really like this. It was pretty good. I really think that it was a pretty good match. What do you think about this match, Jean-Paul?
Yeah, Jungle Boy, he's probably one of the top baby faces in the sense that he can sell. He doesn't look like, a tough guy. He looks like an underdog baby face. And then you have, I think, the best overall wrestler babyface combination, in the whole company in Hangman Adam Page. So this was legit. I mean, Kenny Omega, he's good. Again, like I told you, and I believe I mentioned on here, I would like to see him be more the cleaner instead of just I'm the guy who plays video games and I suck the Young Bucks' dick. I mean, can you please be the best bout machine like you were in Japan? That would be awesome. But they got the win here. I didn't think they would lose, as we saw. It's in the next segment or maybe the following one. We kind of see where the tag team, division and the titles are going to go. But the one thing I just want to say, besides the fact this was a good match, Marco Stunt getting involved, it's okay, whatever. Can he just not be involved in wrestling at all anymore, please? But I don't know why it's every week, every other week, it has to be a title match, because then that devalues a title opportunity. You know what I mean? To have a title opportunity should be legit.
Everybody could get one. Yes. I agree with you. And yeah, I think that what they did after that, it was more meaningful and more important. Why? Because now we know who's going to be the real contenders and who they can really take the titles off, Kenny Omega and Adam Hellman Page, knowing that there's a little bit of resentment for the comment that Kenny Omega just did, saying the Young Bucks are the best tag team. And talking about that, Jean-Paul, like you said, well, they did the boxer ladder and the combination with Big Trigger, 1, 2, 3, done. Pretty much that's what it was. They retained their titles, and rightfully so, because I don't think the Jurassic Express has the momentum that they had when they the tag team tournament, the first one hadn't started. We had the Lucha Bros, so we got to see Santana and Ortiz, and they're still feuding with best friends.
To me, they killed the gimmick when they made Luchasaurus talk.
Yeah.
The only one who really should talk is Jungle Boy, because Marco Stunt shouldn't be employed. So it should be 2 of them.
Marco Stunt should be working alongside Barney, and
exactly.
I love you love me, and all of that stuff. That I think that he fits in that category. I mean, that's the dinosaur he should be right next to.
Yeah, I mean, the other kids, the kids on that show are bigger than him, so they might pick on him. So you gotta watch that.
It's fine. I mean, he can fight him. At least he will be in the same division. But like you said, Santana and Ortiz going against the best friends still. they threw like Clorox or like bleach or something.
Yeah.
They did like into like their clothes. So like they're like, hey, we don't care. But like what do care is kind of like the tag team title. So they're still eyeing on that. But like the rivalry kind of focus shifts onto like the best friends yet. But now we go to like the tag team celebration. They have, of course, two of the best tag teams of all time, and that's the Rock and Roll Express. And they had Anna Anderson and Tully Blanchard. So good stuff. You know, like, and they were kind of talking about, hey, like, who's your best tag team? Or like pretty much the FTR and the Young Bucks were saying, thanks because of you guys. It's like that, like they were Sean and Marty, and like then like the APA, like you said, and then the Legion of Doom, Typhoon and Earthquake, you know, like.
Well, no. I mean, they
Money Inc.
They didn't mention, you know, anybody who was like legit, or, you know, they were just, I mean, the Rockers were legit. You know, Marty, you know, he makes people disappear, so watch out for him. But they were, yeah, they mentioned them. And then the one thing I don't like is whoever it was, Dax or Cash, whichever, still don't know who's who, but he was like, oh, people say I'm a mark for, you know, the Brain Busters. And he's like, you're damn right I am. And I'm like, really? Like that, I wish it was just, I don't care if an old retired guy says that he's a mark for somebody, but when a current wrestler says it, I'm just like, really? Like you should just be like a tough guy. Like, if anything, you should be like, we respect what you did, but we're going to do it better.
Well, I mean, like, like you said, I mean, they portray themselves. I think like the whole gimmick is based on them, because if you think about it, top guys are like, old school, and like the one thing I don't like is like, oh, I'm a mark for them. It's like, it's just, I'm a big fan.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
for what you've done.
That's what I don't like. Yeah,
you know, don't use the same language that they use on you. But like they were thankful to that, and the good stuff is like, well, Anna Anderson also, of course, is like giving back the praise, because it's like, oh, the best tag team in the world is like you guys, and it's like talking about FTR, so it's kind of like neutral, whatever. And then the Rock and Roll Express is talking about the same thing about the Young Bucks. It's like, hey, you know, we did it in the past. Now you guys carry the torch. You've been dominated like for 15 years, so and so. And then John Paul, like you said, Tully is the one that like delivers like the stronger words here. So you walk me through that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're like, oh, you know, oh, we're the best, and like our Rock and Roll says that the Young Bucks are the best. Arn says that FTR is the best, and Tully's like, none of you guys are the best. You're all bullshit. He's like, he's like, to be the best, you have to have gold. Do you have gold? Do you have gold? No. None of you do. So shut the hell up. You're not the best.
That's what Tom Brady's the best. That's what.
Yeah, because he's like, you know, he has, you know, the most rings, so he's the best. That's how it works. And it's like, you know, you can't, you know, people will argue, but it's hard to argue that. That's why some people say, oh, Ric Flair's the best. You know, look how many belts he's held, you know. Yeah. That's no, you know, it is what it is.
And then they were a little bit of interactions, because like Tully, what is it, Ricky Martin, I think it was, or Gibson. Like he shot like Tully Blanchard, and like they went at it, so the Young Bucks are kind of separating them, and FTR the same thing. But like what made the segment even more legit is like the FTR went against I think it was Ricky Martin, right?
Yeah, they took Ricky Martin.
And then the combination with the pile driver, so like they did that. So
I mean, and they bounced him good. I mean, he like flew off the mat.
The fact that he can still be able to sell at this age, that's so legit. So that was good. And finally, FTR, they're still full-fledged heels. Good stuff on that, you know. Good stuff. I really.
And we should mention Sean Spears came out and he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, I banged Peyton Royce," and then that's probably what the fight started about. But
I mean, that's the only reason that he has any kind of notoriety. Yeah, because he can get over himself. So, but like Tyler mentioned, and you said this the first the appearance on Road Break, you said it. He should have beat Cody, and you know we would be talking about a different version of Sean Spears. Let's move right along. For example, really quick, Hikaru Shida. She had a match with pretty much a local wrestler. So, like, pretty much it was really quick match. She did a submission move. She pretty much won. Nobody really cared, because everybody's just like saying, you need to get a contender for what's going to be all out. So look,
they didn't. She didn't even. Yeah, it wasn't no Falcon's arrow. It wasn't no knee. She just had the leg behind the head and just like yanked her back, and it was done.
Submission move, and done. You know, and that was it. And then Tony Schiavone, like interviewer, is like, okay, do you have a contender? She's like, everybody, bring it on.
I think they're gonna debut somebody, because they took all their women and put them in the Deadly Draw.
Oh my! The Deadly Draw is like, you know, it was a good concept, but we mentioned this. There's not enough women. The fact that they had Dasha Fuentes debuting as a wrestler.
Oh yeah, and then what was that? And what was that like? They legit have Big Swole, which is fine. You know, that's her name, whatever. And then there's a Little Swole. Like Swole. Really?
Yeah, so and that's why I'm just telling you that.
And
he's
where's
not.
Chris Statlander? Is she hurt?
Well, no, she's hurt. She's hurt
Oh,
till
okay.
the end of the year. She's hurt. Yeah,
Oh,
she's
okay.
had
Because I
a
was gonna say that's
success. She was
bullshit.
successful with her surgery. She everything. She's recovering, so she's good. But done for the.
Okay.
And then we got the debut Rachel Ellering, the daughter of Paul Ellering. The manager from Authors of Pain, and
Mhm.
the AOP and all of that, and the Legion of Doom, all of that stuff. And the girlfriend of Cassius Ohno. There you go. You wanted more information? I think that's enough. But Jean Paul, like you said, there's going to be on Saturday. Brody Lee is going to be trying to get the TNT Championship. FTR is going to fight Private Party. A lot of good stuff right there. And main event time, Jean Paul. Chris Jericho against Orange Cassidy. Extremely good match. And there was before the match, Kiki, Mike Chioda, and Jericho. Jericho's like, hey, remember when I saved your job years ago? So this is the time to repay. So, hey, help me out when I give you the signal. He's like, well, I'm going to call it right in the middle, Chris. So, okay.
Yeah, I love how it was like a screw job. He, like Montreal, he's like, let's, do the right thing. Like let's just do the right thing here. But see, the one thing I didn't get, the little like hole in this, they're like, oh, Mike Chioda, he signed with AEW, and it's like, oh, you did the TNT Championship, you worked your first match. He's like, oh, do you want me to like save your job here and get you a job? Like, why would they fire him? They just signed him.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I was like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what was that about, but at least Jericho is the one asking him, can you please also officiate my match too? So he said, yeah, I'll do it, but I'll call it right in the middle. So good match, and we said ever since I Fight for the Fallen, or I think it was or Fyter Fest, one of them when they fought for the first time, he said the next time that they keep this rivalry, Orange Cassidy needs to win. So AEW, at least in a lot of instances, when they want to do good, they do. And this time, Orange Cassidy got the win.
And I wasn't, to be honest with you, I wasn't looking forward to this match probably as much as everyone else but when it started, I liked it a lot more. And that was right when the bell rang because I was expecting it to be sunglasses, hands in the pockets, let me duck Jericho's clothesline, let me duck a punch, let me roll out of there. I was expecting the nonchalant, normal Orange Cassidy, but no, he came right at him. It's like he insulted his mother. He was beating him down, punching him. Orange Cassidy actually dominated, I would say the beginning of this match, and that took me by surprise. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be a legit match. It's not going to be like a bullshit gimmick thing. The only thing he did with the hands in the pockets was when he did the trust fall off the top onto Jericho, which I was fine with. I was like, whatever, that's, one of his moves. But, there was great intensity. It wasn't like the nonchalant Orange Cassidy.
Oh, no, it was good. It was good. Even Jericho, I think he tried to wrestle a little more because he did even when he bounces in the ropes and he does the drop kick, they were going at it pretty well. The match was pretty good. And see, it still shows that Jericho still can go. Of course, at a slower pace, but also Cassidy can carry him to go to a good match. I really enjoyed this a lot more than the first match that they had. And we were thinking, like I said, Orange Cassidy needs to win. So it's 9:58, and then the members of Santana and Ortiz come out and they're fighting the best friends. So then Jake Hager comes from the back and he does the body slam that he used to do when in the WWE days. And they
it looks almost just like a spine buster power slam.
Yeah, it's like a body slam like he used to, like you said, and Orange Cassidy had kicked out of the code breaker. So of course that shows you that move in WWE 2K is crap. No wonder everybody kicks out of that. But like you said, okay, Jake Hager comes out and I'm like, oh my god, it's done. But then Orange Cassidy kicks out, so legit. So I'm like, okay, he's gonna win. And in the most crappy fashion, I think he did I tried to do a Falcon arrow or something like that. And
yeah, I don't know, and I don't know if he fell or what. Or no, well, he hit that I think, and then he kicked out.
Yeah,
and then or he hit some move, and then Jericho kicked out, and it's like, oh, okay, but again, it's 9:59. It's like, okay, this is it's got to be done. Because they're not going to go long, or past their time. And then he just rolls him up, and Taz is like, oh, my God, it's a mousetrap. It's a mousetrap. And I'm like, what? You mean the old board game? Like, what the hell are we talking about here? And I'm, and then it was really slow, really awkward. It was almost like when Owen Hart broke Stone Cold's neck. It was not quite that awkward.
Yeah, it looked crappy and it looked bad, yeah. But I mean, like you said, they needed, Kiki is like, okay, time to go, guys. Let's go. But he just closes stop the slicer and let's go.
Yeah, he's like, you told me what to do the right thing, and it's 10:59, 30 seconds, or 9:59. We got to go.
Yeah, we gotta go. So that was pretty much an Orange Cassidy wins. Jericho gives his win back, so that's cool, you know. And I think they're gonna have another one probably. I think that's gonna be the because it's even now, so they're gonna have another one, and they will add a different stipulation. But it was good. So we enjoyed Dynamite. Worth mentioning, Lance Archer had like a quick promo with Jade the Snakes. The Snake pretty much had his shirt ripped off by Lance Archer.
And I don't get this. You know, Jake's cutting a legit promo about like, you know, when you know, somebody fears you, you control them, and when you control them, like you own them. You know, everything they do is in fear of you, and it's like super legit. You know, when is Jake not legit on a promo? And then Lance Archer's beating up these two job guys in the back. Okay, legit. And then he's like, "Oh, did you tell him?" And then Jake's, you know, then it's like exactly what Jake just said. It just shows that Lance Archer has the fear and the control over Jake. And he's like, "No, come on, man. I just bought this shirt." And it's like everybody dies on the back. I'm like, are you going to kill Jake the Snake? Like, what does this mean? So that, I was like, I don't get this.
But at least it's like it generates a little bit of expectation. I really want to see Lance Archer becoming, you know, a champion because he deserves that. He came out with all the, you know,
but see, Cody has the open challenge. Now, I know it's Brody Lee, but why doesn't Lance Archer just show up?
That's also like, hey, I want my rematch. You know, I want a rematch. Or like, hey, it's difficult for him to see him in the title picture right now because MJF is right there. So, like, I don't know. I don't know what it really will do, but, like, we'll see where Lance Archer goes because he's lost his translation right now. Mm-hmm. He needs something because All Out is right in the corner. So we'll see what happens. John Paul, that wraps it up for, like, AEW Dynamite. Tomorrow we will be a little later than usual. So, see, we like to take our audience where it's going to be a little later. Around 7 o'clock is when the video is going to come out. It's going to be NXT review. John Paul, myself, what's going to happen with Karrion Kross, Kid Lucius Lee, you know, all of that. And also, like, who's going to be the next member to add himself to the ladder match at NXT TakeOver 30.
And I'm sure, yep, we're going to have follow-up for the hottest storyline that everybody loves in professional wrestling, Pat McAfee and Adam Cole.
Yes, so, you know, the Jean Paul, remind everybody where they can find us in the social media world, please.
And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, The Original Rope Break, Twitter, The OG Rope Break, and right here on YouTube, like The Butcher and the Blade. They quoted us tonight. Thank you, Tom. For the meat and the potatoes right here, The Original Rope Break.
That's right, family. So thank you so very much for all your love and support, and we'll see you tomorrow, 7 o'clock around that. You know, we announce when are we going to be on. So, Jean-Paul, and you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...